Okay, so one of the things that I feel like is the most underrated about my haunt, if I could say so myself, is the artwork. The artwork at our haunt is second to none, and I get artists from all over to help me out, and especially in our community. I actually have several neighbors that help us. Also, I come from a long line of artists. Personally, I'm not very good at art, but what I am really good at is building frames, priming them, prepping them, getting them ready, coming up with concepts, and delivering them to the artists so they can create my vision. Let's get started with the 2024 Wilkes Family Halloween display artwork. Behind me, our first piece was actually painted by my sister, Jessica, and it's an homage to Halloween 3. To me, one of the most underrated Halloween movies there possibly could be, only because, well, a lot of people don't like it because Michael Myers isn't in it. But I personally absolutely love it. If you've never seen Halloween 3, go watch it. You'll appreciate this artwork way more. But it's the 3 masks from the Silver Shamrock factory. These masks actually kill kids when they put them on and watch the Silver Shamrock commercial. It'll all make sense once you've seen the movie. Right next to it, I also have a piece that was painted by my neighbor, Ramel. You'll hear that name a lot throughout this video because he's a great artist who actually lives down the street from me and has helped me paint and create numerous pieces throughout the haunt that I use every year. And this is actually a sign that's in the factory that creates these masks. And I try to incorporate Easter eggs from my favorite horror movies. And not everybody understands it when they come here, but the ones that do really appreciate it. Come on, there's so much more to see. So I've got a couple pieces up this year. We'll go look at the next one right after this one from an awesome graffiti artist that I met named Quick Draw. Quick Draw on Instagram, you can look him up. He is incredible. As you can tell, every bit of this is spray paint. Come on over, we'll take a look at his other piece that he made for us. Now this one, to me, this is the one. I mean, look at those eyes. The detail's incredible. The little people here at the bottom, signaling the Losers Club from It Chapter 1 and 2, and all the different faces from the movie. Variations of Pennywise, if you can't tell. This one, this variation is from part 2, when he's still kind of human and he's talking to Beverly. I absolutely love it. I love this piece. The sad part about it, you can see it's got a little damage on it because that's just what happens over time in the weather. So I always tell everyone, try to make it out to the display every year at least once, because sadly, our artwork does not last forever. But when it comes to the more intricate stuff, like this awesome piece right here, this is straight from It Chapter 2. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but in the beginning, there's a carnival scene in, I believe, downtown Derry. And this is the entrance to the fun house. And it also, it's in the beginning of the movie, and I believe that's like maybe set in the 80s. And then it also reappears later in the film in present day. Again, my sister Jessica painted this whole piece for me. I cut it out, I basically made the shape of it, got it all ready to go, built it, primed it, and she took over and painted it. Well, because she's an artist. Let's keep it going. This piece has been repurposed 3 times. Originally, my neighbor Ramel made this completely for me back in 2020, and it said, "Welcome to Haddonfield." Then he redid it for me 2 years ago in 2022, and it said Rugsville, exit Highway 30 something for House of a Thousand Corpses. Then he redid it for me again, painted over it, and as you can see, Welcome to Derry, which is gonna be the new the name of the new HBO series surrounding Pennywise. Let's keep it going. So again, I told you guys that you're gonna hear the name Ramel a lot, my neighbor from down the street. This is a piece that he did for me last year. It's 3 separate Pennywises. This is the Tim Curry Pennywise from the Stephen King directed miniseries back in the early 90s. This is the Pennywise most people are more familiar with, which is the new It adaptation, chapter 1 and chapter 2. And then there's this guy who is just kind of a mixture of both that he created out of his own head. And I think that's kind of the beauty of being an artist, right? Creating your vision. And I just absolutely love these 3 pieces. This is actually not artwork. This is just actually printed, corrugated plastic. You could take, really, you can go to any banner company or a company that makes any kind of signage, give them what you want, sort of my little haunter hack, and they'll create it for you. And it looks like something straight out of the movie. This is from Rob Zombie's Halloween. If you watch the movie, I believe when Michael is coming out of hiding, they show a silhouette of this sign. I was saying earlier that I love Easter eggs out of horror movies, and that's something also my neighbor from down the street, Ramel, has helped me with. This is just one of many pieces that we'll get to today that are straight from, this is from the original Halloween film. This is the sign that's on the side of the hospital, I believe that Michael escapes from, or it's the one that Laurie gets brought to. But that's where this sign is from. He painted that for me. He also painted this piece for me, which is the signage in front of the Strode home that's being sold in the original Halloween. You can't really see it behind me, but I have the thorn from Curse of Michael Myers painted on this back wall. And my sister quickly actually put together the boogeyman on that door for me. Did a really great job. Looks very good. Let's swing over to Chucky. So this one was done actually kind of, we all threw down on this one. I actually painted this bottom section. I believe my wife did this section, and then my sister did the rest. And this is actually one of those pieces that nobody knows what the heck it is or where it's from or what it's about. But again, it's one of those deep cuts from Child's Play 3. When Chucky tries to ship himself to Andy, who's at a military academy, because he's trying to steal his soul, this is actually the label from the box that is being sent. And PlayPal Toys is the company that creates Chucky. It's the fictional company that creates Chucky dolls in the movies. So for me, I love it. And really everything you see here, I do because I like it. I don't really care what's trendy or what people like or what people want to see. I do what I want. And then if people come and they enjoy it, well, it's a bonus for them, but it's really all because I like it. And I love Child's Play 3. I think it's a great installment, kind of underrated. Some people have mixed reviews about it, but that's where this piece comes from. If we could swing around, again, one of my hacks is hitting up banner companies and creating or sending them high quality images, telling them what you want, and you can just pay to have a banner made. That backdrop is a banner. Right here, if you look, I also have another, I believe 24-foot, 4 by 24-foot banner that symbolizes the Good Guy Doll Company from Child's Play Part 2. And one of the things that made us go viral originally were our Chucky doll boxes. And so all this artwork was done by my mom and my sister. This one's a little bit older, it's a little beat up now, but our newest box this year, which I absolutely love, is the Bad Gals doll box, which is the box that NECA makes for the Tiffany dolls they now sell. So I figured what's better than a his and hers photo op, but you gotta have the hers box, which is a Bad Gals doll box for Tiffany. And this is a laminate. I had this printed out and I laminated it. This is all straight up artwork, all hand painted, really beautiful. And on this side was a group effort between my wife, myself, and my sister. As you can tell, like there's some parts of it that are a little off, and that's everything that I did. But I love it. I love it. People kind of make fun of her arm for looking fat, but that's on me. Again, I'm not an artist. I did the best I could, but as far as a hand-painted, one-of-a-kind, original photo op, nothing beats that. Nothing beats that. Around the corner here, so no detail is too small. And as you can see here, I never like buying the faux brick from, say, like Menards or Home Depot, because it's not weather resistant. If it's outside for one season, a couple rains, it starts crumbling because it's basically glorified cardboard. What we decided to do is we found a technique where somebody took sponges, glued them onto a piece of cardboard, put little mini handles on them, dunked the sponges in red paint, and just blop, 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 and it creates an awesome brick effect. And that's, again, all hand painted by my mom. If you come around this way, we wanted to create a space where it looked like Chucky was breaking out of his box. Also, in order to build this structure, you have to have bookends to make sure, basically pillars holding it all together. That's what you're seeing here, and it's really simply done by just painting this whole thing yellow, putting a black silhouette here, and for me personally, this is kind of like an Easter egg. I was saying earlier that our first viral videos were of our original Chucky doll boxes. Well, those were back in like 2017, and over the years, they just started falling apart. But what I did was I cut out the good guy symbols on those boxes, and I repurposed them this year on these boxes that we built. And for me, it's just kind of like a nostalgic thing, looking back on the work that we've done, incorporating little pieces of artwork that really are only meaningful to us. But we've never really talked about our display in this kind of way or revealed what it is because, well, quite frankly, we've never had anyone that's willing to film us. We kind of have that ability now, and it's really nice to have that. But we just are always so busy building everything that we haven't really had the time to tell people where it came from, how it was made, and the purpose behind it all. It's always just been for us, and it's really cool that we're getting to share it now. So if we can keep it going, you can see same thing on the other side. My neighbor Christina, actually, she's a great artist. She painted this. There's a few more pieces we're gonna get into here that she did, but she did this foot for me. Again, this is from my old Good Guy doll box. This is from my old Good Guy doll box. And that's a lot of the artwork with Chucky at the moment. Let's look at some more of those Easter egg pieces. So for me personally, Jason is my guy. Friday the 13th, those are my favorite horror movies, or I would say it's my favorite horror movie franchise. I'd say House of a Thousand Corpses is actually my favorite horror movie, but Friday the 13th is definitely my favorite horror movie franchise. You know, Jason, he just walks through those walls. He's the biggest, baddest dude around. He's unbeatable. In my opinion, I think he's the champion. So let's get into it. Higgins Haven, my neighbor, Christina, who painted me that Chucky shoe I was just talking about, did this sign for me. This is from part 3. I believe Chris Higgins, her family owns that section of Camp Crystal Lake, and they call it Higgins Haven. Next to this, my neighbor Ramel, the guy who lives down the street from me, did this piece. And it is incredible. In my opinion, probably the most detailed, well done piece in this entire place. If you look closely, I mean, he got this sign down to a T. There's not a detail on that sign from the movie that is not represented right here. And if, in my opinion, maybe even done better than the original. So if you get a chance to come here, this sign in particular is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the details are phenomenal. All the way down to those little birdies flying over the lake. You really can't beat that. Let's keep it going. My Elm Street sign, again, another Ramel piece. Freddy Krueger's tombstone, done by my sister. In 2022, I did an entire House of a Thousand Corpses display, and it was incredible. And it was just an absolute labor of love because, again, that was my favorite horror movie. I had to bring some of it back because I have so much artwork. I recreated every single piece of artwork that is seen on the murder ride in that movie. This is just some of it. But I incorporated a Captain Spaulding room. First off, as you can see behind me, this was a piece of artwork that was taken out of an abandoned school. They were about to demolish the school and they were throwing these away. I grabbed it and my sister repurposed it. The base of it, she turned into a bucket of fried chicken, and there was a little baby angel that she turned into Captain Spaulding and gave the big angel just a little teardrop. And I just freaking love this piece more than anything. Sadly, when I was setting up this year, this door came a little loose before I got to screw it in, and it ripped the picture. I almost cried. I was so devastated because this is just an absolute beautiful piece of artwork, and I hope to get it officially repaired at the end of the season. But if you look over here too, these were two of the bigger pieces that were on the display in 2022. Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen, and of course his classic fried chicken and gasoline sign. If you zoom in a little bit closer, again, another Easter egg. When the kids at the beginning of House of a Thousand Corpses walk into Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen, he has a tasty fried chicken sign right at the front of his desk, or I guess podium or counter that he stands behind. And then behind him also is a doorway to the murder ride. And that is a recreation of that door by, again, my neighbor Christina, who's a really incredible artist and one of her artist friends. So if you can kind of see it back there, it's sort of an anime version of the actual door from the movie. To me, this is a really cool piece done by my sister. Pet Cemetery sign. I kind of liked it better without the black outline you see on it, but that's actually 3 pieces of fence wood that we took a blowtorch to age it. And then she painted Pet Cemetery up there. To me, it looked great, but I'm always kind of arguing with my mom and my sister about aesthetics. And it's really, when you're out here and you have a haunt, it's sometimes hard for people to see the artwork. So a big way for people to really get a good look at it is outlining your letters. The letters are outlined here. To me, it makes it look too clean. It's still a really cool piece. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I felt like it looked better when it looked like it straight up was just painted with a brush like the movie. I love the little details. Sticking with the Easter egg theme, we kind of have Jeepers Creepers tucked away over here in the corner of our display. It's really hard when you're building a display, and it's hard to kind of find the time to make every single scene you want to create perfect. This scene didn't quite turn out the way we wanted because we just sort of ran out of time, but I'm still very proud of it. I still like it a lot. And my neighbor Christina, again, painted this sign for me, which is actually the license plate on Jeepers Creepers' truck. That's what it says on the license plate right there, that piece. A lot of people don't know what it is, but those who do, again, really appreciate it. My absolute favorite pieces of artwork, which was done primarily by my neighbor Christina, I actually traced this first one, but then my brother Ed got a hold of it and really cleaned it up and made it look nice. And it starts with Sam's rules of Halloween. Sam has 4 major rules to Halloween. If we come this way, rule 1. Always wear a costume. Again, my neighbor Christina painted this. Absolutely beautiful. I love it so much because they incorporated Halloween 3 with the movie Trick or Treat. These are, to me, 2 of my absolute most favorite Halloween movies. And so if I could have a piece of artwork that has both of them incorporated with each other, oh my God, I absolutely love it. You also see these really cool pumpkins all along. And these are designed after the opening scene to Trick or Treat. These pumpkins are literally just pieces of wood cut into a circle, painted orange, put a pumpkin face on it. I drilled 2 holes in the top and 2 holes at the bottom, and I put zip ties on a piece of PVC that I painted orange, and then put black electrical tape around the PVC. It really adds aesthetic to the entire piece. If you come on down, always pass out treats or give out candy on Halloween. That's one of Sam's rules. And of course I got a little Sam right here. Isn't he cute? And it's actually, that's an Easter bunny that I got at a garage sale. And I just put a little orange costume on him and a Sam mask, and he looks awesome. He's peeking out. His next rule, never blow out your jack-o'-lanterns. If you blow out your jack-o'-lantern before the end of Halloween, you're done. He's got several rules, but his last rule for now is always check your candy, because you never know what kind of weirdos out there that might be messing with it. One of our last pieces to go over is done again by my neighbor, Ramel. Some people have said, Ghostbusters, that's a little out of place with all these horror movies and stuff. But I mean, is Ghostbusters not just an American classic? You gotta have just a little of everything. Every one of these movies have meant so much to so many people that when they do come out here and they get to see it, feel it, and experience it, it brings back good memories. And that's one of the big reasons why I do this. These movies all had huge impacts on me when I was a kid. And now I'm bringing them to life here in the downtown of my town, Bensonville, where so many kids come, so many kids see it, and so many kids tell me how big of an impact this has on them, and they've gone and watched the movies that had such a big impact on me. So the artwork at our display is extremely underrated if you really walk around and look at it, because when you come here once, there's scare actors, there's all kinds of stuff going on, lights, animatronics, really cool things to look at, that my artwork actually gets overlooked for the most part. And it's always people that come back a second time. You know, some people say like, I gotta watch that movie twice, there was so much there. I watched it a second time and I got so much more out of it. Well, that's usually what happens when people come back to our display a second time, or they come to it during the day and enjoy all the artwork. It's, I would say, kind of like an art gallery in a lot of ways, a horror movie art gallery. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. A horror, my display is a horror movie art gallery. How about that?